We got my main man, Eddie House, joining the show. Eddie House, one of the real good shooters from his era, basketball analyst for Fox Sports Radio. Eddie, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. How you feeling, man?
I'm excellent. There's a lot to talk about, Eddie. And your Celtics sitting pretty. They're doing great. Second in the East. They're fine. But what just happened over the weekend with Luka traded for AD? I need to know where you were when this went down and your immediate reaction.
My immediate reaction was, at first I thought, I was thinking, Dallas won this trade. I thought Dallas won the trade, because they were getting somebody that they're making a push right now. I don't think that the Lakers roster is constructed to make a push for the conference finals. I don't think that that's how that roster is constructed. So many defensive deficiencies, so many holes on the defensive side of the ball. And the one place that you could plug those holes was on the front line with AD blocking shots and being there, rebounding the basketball. Now they're going to have an issue with that. You're going to be leaning on Jackson Hayes, but then you also got Austin Reeves, who doesn't really play great defense. You got Luka, we all know, documented that he doesn't play great defense, and LeBron's defense has been declining, even though he has put possessions together, but for the most part, it's been declining. So I looked at it and I was like, well, Dallas won because they got AD for 3 more years. And then on top of the 3 years, you got Kyrie over there. They got 2 big men that are solid. Lively's going to be coming back. And then also on top of that, AD is going to be happy because he's going to be able to play the 4. So I looked at it in the short term. And then when I started rethinking about it, in the long term, I think the Lakers won as well. So in short term, Dallas, long term, Lakers, because they can replace LeBron James with Luka Dončić, which they always have a superstar. They've never been a team without a superstar. I don't know how long it's been that they haven't had somebody over there that was a star player. So I think both of the teams won. It's just about what side of the fence that you on the winning side, because Luka could be there for 10 years and they don't win a championship. Did they win that trade? If AD and Kyrie is able to go to the conference finals, I would think that you would look at it and say, oh, okay, they kind of won that trade. And if they're able to attract some free agents over there and try to do something again next year. So that's where I'm at with it.
Don't get me too worked up, Eddie. First of all, over under 1.5 titles for Luka with the Lakers.
I'm going under.
Oh, my gosh. Celtics fan says under. Okay, fair enough. Let me just quickly ask you on Dallas. What's your concern level with Kyrie Irving now going back into the role as the #1 guy? We saw him in Boston, did not want to work with the young kids. We saw him in Brooklyn, bringing KD there, did not work at all, total disaster. Now, he cleaned up his act a little bit in Dallas, but that was as a clear #2 to Luka. Now, you look around the Dallas huddle, who's the leader on that team? And if it's Kyrie, listen, we've seen him as the #1. It has not gone well historically.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Right now, where are you at? Are you the #1? You in the driver's seat right now, right? Because Colin's not there, right? But then any other time you're the #2, right? And it's all about growth, right? And what we can say is that we have seen Kyrie grow over these years, and we could look back and say, man, damn, he messed up the time in Boston. Boston's fans really don't like him because of what he did over there. Brooklyn, they feel the same way. But in Dallas, I feel like the Dallas fans love what he's doing. He went to an NBA Finals with him. I don't think the Cleveland fans hate Kyrie. I think it's just a couple spots that he had, a couple blips in the map to where on the radar, where you look at it, he's like, okay, man, he could have handled it better, but he was young. And I think he's matured. You know what I'm saying? And when you have kids, you know this, J-Mac, when you have kids, you mature in a different way. You go from just thinking about yourself to also thinking about okay, I got to make sure I'm good so they're good. That's the main thing. And I think that he's learned from that. So I'm not worried. I think they have a good I think their roster right now constructed is better than the roster in LA to make a run into playoffs.
I don't totally disagree with that. Here's my thing. The Mavs are actually built, Eddie, to really play against OKC well and against Denver. This Max Christie, he's not getting talked about, but since he went into the starting lineup, the Lakers are 15-8. I'm not saying he's a lockdown defender, but he's long, he's twitchy. I think he could capably defend SGA, and you've got the bigs. We know OKC's weakness are the bigs. If Dallas is healthy, I think you're probably right. In the postseason, they can make a run.
That's all I'm trying to say. So at the end, what are we playing for? Are we playing to get to the playoffs? And I have a little conspiracy theory. Okay?
Here we go.
Just think about this. All right, so AD waived his 8% a trade kicker, about $6 million. Okay, cool. Him and Rich Paul, they're all clutch sports. LeBron clutch sports. Maybe they know something that maybe they tipped it to the organization to where, hey, we gotta start trying to figure out who's going to replace LeBron. LeBron might not be there. Here's my conspiracy theory: LeBron possibly ends up in Dallas next year.
So, that's kind of spicy because he is still tight with Kyrie. They've talked about being partners. That's good stuff, Eddie. You got me there. I haven't heard anybody say that.
Once the trade happened, I started thinking like, this could be a move for him to slide over there. He plays. Think about it, they still have Klay Thompson over there. They'll have Kyrie over there. They'll have Anthony Davis. LeBron doesn't need the money, so he could play on he's not going to get shortchanged now, but he's not going to get a max deal or anything like that. And they had the money to give a max deal to Luka Dončić. Now they look like, we could get LeBron. Okay. So now they could put something together, and then you could piece the ancillary players around that core of players right there. And they make a run for 1 or 2 years because that's probably all that's going to be really left for that type of run. But that was just something that I came up with in my head. I was like, man, that's kind of.
So would Bronny go?
It's kind of weird.
Bronny,
he didn't get that trade kicker.
Yeah.
So
does he bring his son with him to Dallas?
I don't know about all that.
Well, I mean, if LeBron's gone, I don't know if Bronny's still on the roster. Crazy stat from our team here. Dalton Connect is 24. Luka's 25. Like, that to me is kind of mind-blowing stuff. Like, that's how young Luka is. And totally dominant. I am curious with you. You said the Lakers always magically end up with superstars, and you're not wrong. Magic, Jabbar, Shaq, Kobe, on down the list. Are you one of these guys who thinks maybe the league likes that? We got Los Angeles. We need a good team. The team in New York is finally good. Chicago's been down for 2 decades. We need, unlike the NFL, the NBA needs the big markets to have good teams. Are you alluding to something there?
No, I'm not saying that because think about it. OKC's not a big market. They got a damn good team, and they got a superstar over there in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Cade Cunningham, Detroit's not a huge market, but they got a solid team over there and a damn good player in Cade Cunningham. But it's the Lakers. It's just the Lakers. It's the way that the Lakers operate business. They constantly have. I mean, come on, you're in Hollywood. You're in LA. You're in Tinseltown. You have to have stars because that brings stars to the game. That brings people to the game. Think about this. And you say LA. Well, damn, ain't the Clippers in LA? It ain't the same. It ain't the same. You have to have stars when you're with the Lakers. It's just the way that it's been since I can remember.
So there's some stories starting to emerge that in the Dallas locker room that Luka, despite being well-liked, the front office didn't like him, maybe because of his work habits, his diet habits. I'm just curious, did you ever, in your time in Boston or anywhere else, Miami, wherever, did you experience just seeing front office being unhappy with guys out of shape or not being in condition that were stars, and the front office being really ticked off at them?
No, because most of the guys I played with, pretty much all of the superstar players I played with held everybody else accountable by what they did, how they came in. And it never happened in Miami because you got weight and body fat check every week. Whether it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every single week you got weight and body fat. You had to be at a certain weight and body fat. If you weren't, then you were doing extra running. You were doing extra things that you had to do to make sure you got to that weight and that body fat percentage. But as far as that's the thing. I think if you allow your superstar player, and I think that upper management, I think it's the owners, the new ownership is hey, we're not going to allow this to happen. Because the thing about it is you can't have your star player come in out of shape, everybody else in shape, and you don't hold him accountable. That fractures the locker room. But when you have a superstar player like a Kevin Garnett that comes in, and when you walk into the gym, right, practices in about an hour, you get there an hour before, he's already on the court in a full-fledged sweat. It makes you start kicking in like, oh, I got to get here a little earlier so I can put in this work. Well, if Luka's coming in, and I don't know this for a fact, I don't know at all, but if he's coming in out of shape, I know that he's been coming in out of shape, that's documented. But if he comes in with 12 minutes left before practice is starting, then, I mean, that sets a different type of standard. Like, what kind of leadership are you having? What kind of leadership are you out there presenting? And how can you be the leader? We know that you're really good on the court, but it's other things that you have to do to set precedent for the rest of the team.
Yeah. All right. Let me last one on the Lakers. Do you think they're done making moves? Because there's a lot of speculation. Hey, we don't need Austin Reeves. We've got enough ball handlers who don't really defend. We need a center. We got to go get a rim protector, a Nick Claxton, a Miles Turner, and they package the pick they have left, Reeves, Rui, whatever the package is, to go get somebody. You think they get a rim protector?
I don't think they're done dealing. They definitely have to go get somebody that's a rim protector because they have so many holes on the defense. You know, Luka's not going to play great defense. Austin Reeves not going to play great defense. And also, LeBron is up and down with his defense, possession to possession sometimes, quarter to quarter, half to half. But what I believe is that they're going to go out there, try to find somebody. And like you said, if it's a Nick Claxton or Miles Turner, I really think Miles Turner would be a good fit for him because he can kind of stretch the floor a little bit and he can protect the rim. He rebounds the basketball. He's a younger guy. Nick Claxton is a younger guy too. But if they do that, does that move the needle? And to me, that doesn't move the needle. That doesn't make them all of a sudden be like, oh, yeah, they're contenders. They're going to have to make another big-time deal for a big-time player. No disrespect to those guys that I'm talking about because they all can hoop. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not disrespecting nobody in the league like that. But they're going to have to get somebody that can do what Anthony Davis does, and that's 27 and 12. And maybe you get a couple guys that are able to put that together to make it work. But what I'm looking at right now, they rostered it. That ain't it.
Yeah. Let me ask Jim. You spent time in Miami. What the hell's Jimmy Butler's problem? Like, he was such a good soldier, got them to 2 finals. It's all falling apart. He's getting suspended. He doesn't want to go to Golden State. He only wants to go to Phoenix. I love Jimmy Butler. I don't know what's happening, man. How do you think this ends?
It's not going to end good for him, as that's how I'm feeling. Knowing Pat Riley and knowing the business of basketball, when you start, and you know, Pat Riley's the godfather, so people are going to lend their ear more to him than they will listen to Jimmy Butler's agent, okay, or what's going on. And the one thing I can say is that this has kind of been a pattern with Jimmy. You know, in every place that he's been to, he has usually left disgruntled and upset. He got upset at something. But I think the main thing is that when Pat said he didn't want to trade him, it wasn't the fact that he was trying to tell him you can't go nowhere. I think it was like, no, we want you here. We're not going to trade you because we want you here. We signed you. You got another deal. I want to say it's $51 or $53 million for next year that he could opt into. Okay, we didn't give you an extension because we don't see it. And okay, and that's fine, but they gave you a great deal. You're about to play for $50 million, and I'm not counting nobody's pockets, looking at nobody's pockets or counting nobody's money. But what I'm saying is that you have an obligation when you are under contract. And I don't know if you watched any of the Heat games when he came back from suspension. He took a one-legged three-point shot from the corner that he never takes, ever. You never seen Jimmy Butler ever take a shot like that. Then he threw the ball on an entry pass straight out of bounds. And then he had lackluster effort getting back on defense. So now it's showing me you don't really want to be here, and you're a detriment to what we're trying to do, the culture that we have. So I don't think that he helped himself, you know, in the way that he handled this. Can Jimmy Butler still help a team? Yes, he can. So
we'll wrap up with this, Eddie. So Luka got traded, and Anthony Edwards was like, man, I'm scared. Nobody's safe. If Luka can get traded, maybe I'm next. Obviously, we don't think Anthony Edwards is getting traded. But I floated 2 names. Let's start with Kevin Durant in Phoenix. The Suns are like 10th in the West. Jimmy Butler wants to be there. You can't trade Beal. Maybe Kevin Durant gets shipped. And the other one, and I've been on this for a while, you know I'm a Steph Curry guy. They're 11th in the West. They can't pull off a trade for anybody. At some point, do the Warriors say, we got to reboot and trade Steph Curry so we can at least maximize his final years? I mean, Eddie, you saw him at the Olympics. He was dominant. And now he's on the 11th place team in the West. The league can't have that.
Yeah, you can't trade Steph Curry, man. That's a guy I feel that he's one of those guys should be a lifer with that team. From where he came from to where they were at when he got there to where he put them and where they're at right now and his status as a basketball player. And not only a basketball player, but a pillar of the community as well. Does a lot of work out there in the Bay Area, whether it be in Oakland, whether it be in San Francisco, or anywhere else in the Bay Area. He does a lot of work, a philanthropist work. And to me, you can't trade him. And for Jimmy Butler, no. And if you try to get Jimmy Butler, now think about what you have on your team. You got two guys. You have a Draymond Green that, can be unstable at times and does great for the team. He's perfect for what they try to do. Then you got Jimmy Butler, who could be, a wild card at times as well. So I don't think Steph plays well with that. I think Steph just loves to go out and play hoop. And when it's all the other distractions like that's going on right now, I think that's where it kind of does bother him. And I know Steph is getting a little older, but no, he has to be a Golden State Warrior for life.
Yeah. All right, Eddie House.
Unless he doesn't want to be.
Well, is there a way to politically pull that off? We'll see. All right, Eddie House, great stuff. Keep up the good work. And, hope everything's well with your kids who are awesome basketball players.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.